Greetings, church family. We're excited to have you here with us. We thank you for your continued presence and support of our in person and online journey together as a church family. I'm Risa Week, the worship chair here at Inglewood First UMC, and our lead pastor, Reverend Victor Cyrus Franklin, is here with us too. I want to give a special thank you to both uh, Pastor Victor and Pastor Lisa, because these two pastors are leading and meeting the demanding challenges of not one, but two churches simultaneously. And so we always want to keep them in our thoughts and in our prayers and just, special thank you. So, okay. Um, so welcome everybody to the shout out today. We've got couple other church family members here with us this evening, and we will speak with them in a couple minutes. We hope everybody is well and giving thoughts to getting vaccinated, boosted, and tested for COVID-19 if you get sick or if you're around other people who are sick. And I'm realizing now that we are entering into flu season again. So we need to get our flu shots too, right, everybody?
Yes. It's true. Wow. Okay.
I
gotta do mine. I gotta do mine.
September, I was saying to somebody, oh yeah, I got my flu shot. And then I realized, oh, well, that was last year. I guess I need to get one this year. So gotta get one. Want to keep our masks handy. And let's keep our prayers and love and kindness handy also. We don't have any shout out birthday guests with us today, but let's send a belated happy birthday to Pastor Tim Cyrus, that's Pastor Victor's father-in-law. I don't know when his birthday was. When was it? September something?
It was over the weekend.
Oh, okay. And let's send a birthday shout out to our friend Mark Braillard, who I believe his birthday is September 17th. So happy birthday to those two fellas. So last Sunday, there was a special big LA Voice event that Inglewood First was invited to participate in. So we have our friend from LA Voice, Pastor John O, here with us. We have Mantuolaki Murren, who is a longtime member and community activist with us. And then Pastor Victor was on program. So I want to start with Pastor O, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what the special day was all about and what the event was, the significance of it. Can you do that for me, Pastor O, please?
Yeah, sure. So it wasn't just one event, but it was months and months of activity at LA Voice. It started with our listening campaign. We were listening to each other. We were telling our stories to one another. And then finding out, what are the issues that matter to us, to our communities, to our neighborhoods. And then we brought those issues to focus, and we talked to our electeds through many research meetings, and we had conversations with them about the issues that mattered most to our communities, and we got responses back. And from those research meetings, we came up with, we cut the issue, and also that means we focused the issues and fine-tuned the issues, and we looked at some legislation that supported our cause, some ideas to look into. And then we had this big action last Sunday, and we had some electeds there to respond to those issues that mattered most to us. But also it was a show of power. When we come together, we have power. And not only just come together, but come together on on come together in the name of love. And I think Reverend Victor spoke to that. So yeah, I'll let Pastor Vic share his take.
Okay. Did you want to go first, Pastor Victor? Or
No. I do a lot of talking. I don't need, I'm good.
Manu, what was your takeaway from it? You were one of the representatives from Inglewood that went, and so what was your takeaway from it?
Well, it is very interesting to when the stages of movement from LA Voice and Multi-Faith, from over 2,000 conversation, collecting data, and able to action, and and to witness over 30 congregation together with the member of LA Voice.
Wow.
Together the power campaign, and how powerful that I only estimate is probably a couple hundred, it could be a few thousand of the people, but the power of people taking it to their hand, and also not only through the research collecting data, but to the action. And that's the part that was very interesting for me, because I have experienced in the past so many talking, collecting data analysis, and no action. And so I was impressed with the action. And the action that started for me was 3 congregations in South LA in our bus. I was the bus captain, and supposed to be 15 people, only 9 showed up, which is great. And for that, we has a role of asking them to introduce each other and why they're there. And by the time we arrive in Pasadena, we know each one of the 9 by names and what church they came from and why they're here. And it was kind of fun for me to really see that. And by the time we got out in the bus, we're just ready to see where they're all open to what's gonna happen, because they ask questions. And the director of, one of the member of LA Voice was with us, Omar, and instead of volunteer to answer, he pushed me to answer. So me, I'm not gonna be quiet about it because I know a little bit about it. So I just shoot, them who they are. There are over 30 congregation, multiracial, multi-faith, and we are united together. And one of my most impression when we arrive is the nourishment of one voice within the center. And then to hear that was so very, very powerful. And all the elected officials who showed up, all 4 of them, we forced them to vote yes to what we want. And we're gonna follow up with that too, because we also have an action that everybody have to call at 5 o'clock to the governor's office. I was calling at 5 also, and when we came back, I asked everybody, okay, is everybody have the governor's office? And I think only 1 or 2 did not have. I gave it to them. And I said, and if you have friends with the one in Pasadena, the reason they chose Pasadena is because one of that assembly does not vote for the issues that we have. And the 3 main issue is that all the collecting of data and the research was majority of the conversation is 1, lack of affordable housing. 2 is the humanitarian homelessness that is a right for everybody. And then the 3rd one also is the security of income for people to survive. So that's many issues more than that, but that's what they combine together. And in the service, in the whole thing, including people told me about my pastor, like they asked all kind of questions. I was like, who is that young African American who was speaking? And I said, that's my pastor. But it's not only our Inglewood First UMC pastor, he's also the lead pastor of Grace UMC LA. So what he also reflect in his speech is to remind ourselves that who we are, that God is in with us, and in order to work together in collaboration, we have to have a sense of community. He even ask everybody to sing together the community song. And
What did you sing?
it was wonderful because there were response. See, sometimes when you are in front of people and you started and nobody sing, it's like, wow, but there were response to the song. So that's very good. so for me, it was very inspirational what he shared. And across the stage, there were rabbi, there were welcoming from the First Baptist Church of Pasadena. I was impressed with the highlight of that church of 150 years with Pasadena Rose Parade overlay, and the other one is less than 6% of the community. There's no black and brown are allowed real estate to those. So there's a weaving of understanding and educating the people with the reality of the issue, and kind of empowered the whole members and asking what is the next step. And so I email my summary to all my 9 people because it's a commitment for me. They asked me, I asked answers to them, and I said, well, this excited is nothing. We have to be prepared for the next one. So what's our first action?
Could you email me a copy of that also? I'd like to read it. Definitely.
What?
I said, would you email me a copy?
I will be. But my first commitment is my bus riders.
Okay.
So that's my first. And of course, what I have, I'll share with our church. But this is my people that I know. I barely know them. So I said, okay, since you're asking too many questions, and I gave you, how about I give my summary to you? So I send them the summary, whether they read it or not, I don't care. but yeah, I want to stop here because I already talked too much, and Reverend Victor and also Reverend Shell will be sharing. I'm sorry I took a lot of the time, but I'm still excited. After I called the governor. I called 5 of my friends who live in San Gabriel to make sure I gave them the phone number.
Good.
So
Good.
I do my 2 actions so far, and also giving my information to the other one. So.
You are a force to be reckoned with. Pastor Victor. Pastor Victor, tell us what your speech was about. I hear you were very inspirational.
I want to tell everything.
But long story short, I didn't sing. Something like that. But a lot of us grew up on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Ultimately, won't you be my neighbor? And so we just talked about how, in our tradition, in the Christian tradition and across all the sacred traditions, it's a call to love our neighbors. Mm-hmm. And we love God not just by what we say, but by what we do. And we love God by how we love our neighbors. And so loving our neighbors means creating affordable housing for our neighbors. That's loving our neighbors. we loved and I talked about our church and the rent control campaign, rent stabilization. Loving our neighbors is helping to make sure our neighbors and we can afford to stay here and live where we are, you know. That's loving our neighbors. Guaranteed basic income is loving our neighbors. Sure we can all have a dignity and a quality of life, you know, and we'll be able to afford to sustain ourselves and our families. And housing, you know, our houseless neighbors is loving our neighbors. Folks who, you know, may not have roofs over their heads, but we got to do what we can to help create space so they can have the dignity of having a place to live that's clean and dry and warm or cool when it needs to be. So all that's loving our neighbors. And so that the ask of our elected leaders was, won't you be our neighbors? You know, won't you support the policies that help us be the neighbors that we are here? Because we believe we all belong here. So that's pretty much the summary, you know, of what we shared, and I just bore witnesses. That's who we are as a church, as a congregation. That's what we're about, and so that's what is it? You know, they say, I've heard Cornel West say it many times. You know, justice. You know, it's what love looks like in public, and so it's all love and being good neighbors. So if you're joining us, you know, won't you be our neighbors as we keep doing this work together? You know, going into this election season, won't you be our neighbors and helping us? The food pantry is serving this week, right? And helping to feed folks in our community. Won't you be our neighbors? Help us singing with us, right? Praying with us, serving with us. That's the invitation. And for us and following Jesus is loving our neighbors, loving each other. So that's what's up.
And the part that our group was asking about more about him is that you know, he challenged us that we belong to each other.
Yeah.
If you're not doing anything, then you're not belong to this community because we belong to each other. And it was very interesting for me in that conversation, and it sparked in their question and answer, but every single one have to pick up something from him. So I was very proud when I facilitated.
Proud to represent us. Proud to represent us. You know.
And when I sent my summary to LA Boys, to Jordan and Yvonne, I said Inglewood First was represented by me and Reverend Victor Cyrus, Franklin, as well as Reverend Nima Cyrus Franklin, and Trey and Nani, as well as Grace UMC representative.
Very true.
Thank you all for representing us. You know, wow.
Yeah, I have a whole 2 pages of summary from the thing, but I didn't want to take it because these two were there.
Well, I look forward to reading your 2-page summary.
I will send it. Yeah, I just have to make sure that I do my commitment for my bus riders first.
Okay.
Then, of course, my church,
Share like with the rest of
my
us.
sisters.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming and for sharing, and just, for all of us being, part of one big happy family. Thank you for all the work that you do, all 3 of you.
Well, Melissa and I were already registered, but Melissa has the same thing and like me. Today, 2 Tongan show up without appointment in my house. So it's the same way as Melissa. There were 2 guests show up to it because it's Belizean tradition something.
Right. 10%.
So she called me that she cannot go because 2 people showed up to her house. I totally can relate to those island behavior.
All right, y'all. All
right. Well, I want to thank everybody again for coming, and I don't think are we singing happy birthday today, Pastor Victor?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not? Go for it.
I'm putting my hat on.
Yes.
To commemorate, I cannot even speak, to commemorate the occasion. So, Pastor O, you have to help us sing happy birthday. It is your duty, okay?
Okay, I'll do my best.
So we're going to sing to, let's see, Pastor Tim and to Mark Boyard.
Yes.
How about that? All right, y'all. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Reverend
and Mark.
Happy birthday to you and everybody else.
All right.
Thank you all. And before you leave, can we all say see you in worship this Sunday together? 1, 2, 3.
See you in worship
this
Sunday together.
All right.
Right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Okay.
All right.
Okay, all right.
Woo!